Good morning, 8th grade. Hope we're all doing well. Just wanted to show you what today's learning is going to be. So, today's learning is kind of how can we build Pangea? Okay, please watch the created video. That's what I'm making right now. And you can also use our EL gizmo to help build Pangea with today's learning. So, how do we build it? Well, the first thing is you have to remember a couple things. One, remember from Tuesday that we learned about evidence that helps support that Pangea once existed. One I forgot to add in there was the shapes of the continents look like puzzle pieces. Others are fossil evidence on different continents. The shapes of the continents. Oh, well, we actually already said that. So, and then rock commonalities. And rock commonalities kind of mean like the age of rocks, different rock structures. And you're going to see that in today's gizmo that I'm going to show you in a moment. So how do we build it? Well, go to explorelearning.com and log in with your username and password. I'm going to move the resources into today's lesson to find your username password to get logged in. I want you to construct Pangea, which means to make it, build it, using the evidence that we have, the fossil evidence, the shapes of the continents, and the different rock commonalities. Okay, so on slides 5 and 6, there are a couple different questions, but before you can really answer them, you have to go to explorelearning.com. So I am in explorelearning.com. I have already logged in. I have already done my part. Okay. So I've already gone to well, actually, let's start from the beginning. So you're going to get to a site that looks like this. Just log out. And you'll go to log and enroll. You have to enter your username. And then you'll need to enter your password. Ooh. Okay, and then you want to find the building Pangea one and launch the gizmo. Okay, so which evidence do we want to start with? Well, why don't we start with the one that our video yesterday spent the most time on, with fossils. So when you click on fossils, look at all these different lines, these different bands, okay? The bands show you different fossils and where they were. So you have the Glossopteris fossil, you have the Cynognathus, they're so challenging to pronounce. Cynognathus fossil, you have the Lystrosaurus fossil, and then you have the Mesosaurus fossil, each with different bands, okay? And so you want to try and match those bands up as best as possible. You can click and drag on the different continents, and if you click on the right part of the continents, you can also see this black circle with kind of a turn knob on it, which will allow you to spin the continents as you choose. So what you can do is spin and do your best to match up the different continents. And so, for instance, if you take Africa and South America and you get them lined up, you'll see that those bands are pretty nicely in line. And what you also see is, remember from our evidence, the different shapes of the continents? Well, that's a pretty good fit, okay? It's not 100% perfect like any other puzzle, but it is pretty darn close, okay? And so you can continue this with the different bands, the different continent pieces. You can click them and drag them and move them around, okay? And your job is to best reconstruct Pangea. Now, something to note is that your picture's not going to look exactly like this, okay? Yours is going to look a little different, and that's okay. But it's your job to use the different sources of evidence. We have the fossils that remain. Rocks and glaciers are actually both kind of the same resource. They're both rock commonalities because, believe it or not, for instance, rocks, 2 billion-year-old rocks, so they're talking about the same age of different rocks. That can also help you see, oh, maybe I need to spin this a little differently so then it fits a wee bit better. It helps you kind of piece in your continent into the appropriate location. Maybe it's down, maybe you think it's down here, maybe it makes more sense if it's up here. You're not going to have too much overlap, so you're going to have to be really thinking about where the best fit is. Then you have, more of the continent up here. Maybe you put it here. And so you have the rock evidence that you can maybe use. And then you also have the glacial evidence, okay? Glaciers being those big pieces of ice. Well, they're so heavy. What they do is they leave marks on the rocks, and you can watch those patterns. And the patterns that this gizmo kind of shows you is that, oh, we have these lines that seem to be all leaving from a central location, which can also help us see how Pangaea was once made. Isn't it crazy? So in present day South America, Africa, India, Madagascar, Australia, and still Antarctica, there's evidence of glaciers. But, what's crazy is that Australia, India, Africa, and South America aren't really that cold unless you're in the mountains. And I mean, this is pretty far north. India is above the, closer to the equator. So is this African region. The equator probably cuts through right about there. And so you'll use our sources of evidence. You'll use the fossils. You'll use the outlines, the shapes of the different continents. You'll use the rock ages, and you'll try and recreate Pangaea. Now that's what I did on this map. Now look at this map. This map's not super perfect, but my rocks seem to be pretty well in line. The shapes of Greenland kind of fit into Eurasia, which is Europe and Asia and North America. When we look at the glacial evidence, there seems to be a pretty nice band of the outline from the glaciers, and all my fossils also line up. All the different bands kind of have that continuous streak between all the different continents. So I've used the fossils, I've used the rocks and glaciers, which is the rock commonalities, kind of the patterns, and then you also have the shapes, the rocks, fossils. So yeah, all those different sources of evidence help me build Pangaea. So while you're trying this out, which sources of evidence were the most helpful in building Pangaea? Was it the fossil evidence? Was it the shape of the continents? Or was it the rock commonalities, the glaciers and rocks? Okay, so you just highlight which one was the most helpful for you. Well, which one? You highlight it, you tell me. And then, do you think everyone's model of Pangaea will look like yours? Explain why or why not. Do you think your Pangaea is going to look exactly like mine? Do you think people might have theirs looking slightly different? Why not? Explain. Okay. When you're done, make sure you say here in the class comment section of today's attendance, answer the 4 total questions on slides 5 and 6 to understand how we build Pangaea. If you are able to get a screenshot of yours and put it into a slide, let's say extra credit, because I'm not entirely sure how to do it on I'm not sure how to do it on different kinds of computers. So if you want to try and do it, go for it. But this is more of your practice, more of your chance to build Pangea today. Make sure that you say here in the class comment section, make sure you answer the questions on 5 and 6 to kind of explain our learning today. And remember, you are trying to build Pangea. How is yours going to look? Okay, that is what you want to build today. If you have any questions, please reach me at my office hours. Please send me an email. I'll be here. Have a great day.